Hello again, okay, here in this video. Well, it happened again, that's right. This is liable to end up being a two-parter, okay? It happened again, a two-parter? Yeah, that's because it keeps happening again, ain't that right? But I got some things to show you here, okay? And I know I'm probably going to piss some people off, okay? And I just don't give a flying F, if you know what I'm saying, okay? Because I'm probably going to piss some people off with what I'm going to say and what you're about to see. But, you know, I don't condone what this guy did. I don't side with what this guy did in any no means at all, okay? But I see one-sidedness playing out here, okay? And I see the guy that was probably a really good guy that was destroyed through drama, okay? And the way our ability is to treat one another, okay? But that's not going to be taken into consideration because the media never reports both sides of the story, for one. And for two, we don't give a flying fuck about the guy, do we? This is all about the women, isn't it? But anyhow, let me show you what we're talking about, and I'll be right back with you.
Point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Teresian's death. You give a new meaning to the word evil.
You are evil, hateful, and disgusting.
Unbelievable comments from a convicted murderer, unprecedented words from the judge. Ms. Chandler Sarah Hansen was in the courtroom this morning as Randall Moore's incredible sentencing hearing unfolded.
You did to my daughter, Teresian Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable.
Teresian Lynch Moore's mom had the first word.
You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
But then the murderer, who was dressed in sentencing stripes instead of a trial suit, started in.
Read the journal she wrote. She hated you. She hated you. You're a loser.
For 10 minutes, Moore went on, throwing around allegations of abuse in Teresian's past.
That has got to be the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not saying what I did was any better, but...
Making excuses for his ignorance.
Because I didn't know what postpartum was. I thought the reason my wife was bitchy and nagging all the time was because she was just that way.
Bragging about his past.
I had several no-contact orders on me. And you know what the funny thing is? The day after a no-contact order was put on me, that girl was laying in my bed with me. So she wasn't too worried about anything. It was just something to get a piece of paper to keep me away, but then they always came back.
And delivering his lines.
And I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Teresian's death. It could have all been prevented. All you had to do is let me see my kid. Now you're never going to see her again.
Okay, as you see there. Now, I don't condone what he did, as I told you at the very beginning of the video. I don't agree with what he did. He's where he belongs right now, okay? But I see the one-sidedness here. And when you listen to the reporter, listen to what he says. Making excuses for his ignorance because he didn't know what post-tournament it was. I mean, come on. If you don't know what something is, because he's never heard of it before, that's called making excuses for your ignorance, huh? So if you don't know about a law because you haven't went to school for fucking 8 years, and you ain't got a library in your house, and even if you went to school for 8 years and had a library of law books in your house, and you didn't know about one of them, would that make you ignorant? Would it? Think about that. Okay? This is now this is going to get intense, okay? Watch out.
Talking about being a good parent, I was a good parent to my sons, both of them. I coached Taylor's Ankeny Little League team to a championship. I coached his AAU basketball team. I went to his classroom and did readings to his class. I've spanked my 11-year-old son one time in 11 years, and that was because he spit at his mom. And I cried for spanking him because I told myself when I was growing up I would never spank my kids no matter what. And my son Levi, I was there through the whole birth, prenatal classes. I mean, I did everything. Me and my wife was so happy about the whole thought of us having a baby, and we told each other no matter what. We went to marriage classes before we got married, and we told each other no matter what, we will fight to the end till there's nothing left to fight for. We would go to counseling, whatever happened, we would never just give up, because she talks in her journals about how her mom just walked out on her dad with no forewarning, no nothing, and how it ruined her life, and she hated her mom for that. And that's the reason she would never walk out on a relationship.
What you're hearing right there out of him is probably 100% truth. 100% truth. And if you noticed, he not only told you about how he took care of his children, what did he tell you about the woman he was with, what he loved? He loved her. That's why he promised. And you hear the promises that he said that she made. She probably did. She probably did make these promises, okay? Now, promises are promises, but the problem is in today's society, nobody knows what real love is. Nobody. Can't think of many people left in today's world that actually knows what real love is, okay? And because of that, this is what's leading to. It had happened again, that's right. But you can tell that this guy actually loved her, okay? And the one-sidedness, because you never hear both sides of the story. They're not going to tell you anything she done to piss him off. It's only going to be whatever he did, okay? Not what she done, okay? Because that's the way it works, isn't it? It's all one-sided all the time, because guys don't have emotions and feelings, right? Women would never do nothing to pull a string at guy's strings and mentally abuse a guy. You think that physical abuse is worse than mental abuse? You're fucking wrong. Physical abuse heals. Physical abuse might lead to death and you don't feel nothing. Mental abuse? It goes on for the rest of your life. Anyhow, watch out. But I do believe this guy probably was really a good person at one time. At one time. Before the drama started. But watch out.
Let me start off by saying if anything should burn in hell, it's not Teresa Ann's yearbooks and her personal memorabilia. When you get to prison, there are two men you ought to look up because you have a lot in common. One of them I sentenced on May 3rd, 2010. He murdered his wife. She was divorcing him. He was lying in wait till she got out of work, then followed her on the freeway, pulled up beside her, put his weapon out the window, shot her, killed her. Of course, car rolled over and over for a while before it came to a stop. I sentenced him for murder on May 3rd, 2010. On September 30th, 2010, I sentenced a young man to murder. Now, he wasn't married to the woman he murdered. He was living with her. And she was leaving him. He strangled her to death. You three have so much in common, I can't believe. Yeah, shake your head, yeah, because you know you do. And I just can't believe what I've heard, but I am really glad you had your right of elocution and you could say everything that you said, because if anybody didn't know what a piece of work you were before you start talking, they know it now. The three of you that I'm talking, I've sentenced 3 people for murder in the last 7 months. And when I say you all have a lot in common, you sure do. And it's been said before, and it can't be said enough. You're cowards. You truly are cowards. You prey on women. They give you their love. They give you their trust, and you betray them. You betray it by physically and or mentally abusing these women. And they stay with you, notwithstanding that for a while. Well, yeah, you're shaking. Because I think what they probably are doing is, I love this person. I trust this person. This must be some sort of aberration. This just is not the man that I married or that I fell in love with. And they're right. You weren't the man that they thought you were. So anyway, you start abusing them, and then when they finally have had enough, they try to leave. And you guys just can't understand why they leave such wonderful men like you. But they try to leave, and you can't stand that because you can no longer control.
Okay, what'd you hear there? That's right, you heard the judge, okay? You heard the judge talk about 2 other cases, didn't you? All in the last few months. That's right. If it happened again, that's right. But you notice how the judge ridiculed the men. You notice what he said about the men who perpetrated the crime. Well, you know, I can understand people being mad at the crime, and I don't condone the crime they've done. But, once again, what did I tell you? You hear the one-sidedness? Do you ever hear the other side of the story? Did you ever hear what happens or how these people treat each other that leads to this? No, because you people think you can treat other people the exact same way you would never want to be treated yourselves. And because you want to treat people the way you wouldn't want to be treated yourselves, this is what happens. It happened again, okay? And then the court system, to keep the division going. The court system, the corruptness, to keep the fucking division going. The one-sidedness, okay? To never reporting both sides of the story. To never thinking about going after the cause of the problem. We're going to chase the symptoms. What do I mean by that? Because you're going after the symptoms. Because you're not worried about the cause. Because if you were worried about the cause, you would be looking at both sides, not just one side. Follow me over to part 2 and see what else is coming up, because I've got more to show you. See you over there.